Tyson Fury pulled off one of the great upsets. Even though Carlos Takam goes into the bout with Anthony Joshua as a clear underdog, there is still every chance the recent replacement for the injured Kubrick Pulev may cause a major upset. With that in mind, Jack Wendt decided to look back at 5 of the biggest shocks in boxing history. Tyson Fury v Vladimir Klitschko. Vladimir Klitschko had dominated the heavyweight scene for almost a decade until coming up against British fighter Tyson Fury in 2015. The way the Englishman moved around the ring, coupled with his ability to continually switch between orthodox and southpaw, made for one of Klitschko's most difficult encounters. After 19 successful title defenses and going 11 years undefeated, Fury pulled off a major upset in Germany, beating the Ukrainian on points to become the new WBA, IBF and WBO champion. The Wythenshawe-born fighter became just Britain's 5th heavyweight world champion, joining esteemed company including Lennox Lewis, Bob Fitzsimmons and Frank Bruno. Mike Tyson had become one of the most revered names in boxing history, developing a reputation as one of the impressive heavyweight champions ever to grace the sport. After 5 years without a single defeat to his name, the odds were well and truly stacked against James "Buster" Douglas. Inflicting any kind of upset, but complacency got the better of Tyson. The then IBF, WBA and WBC champion thought he had done enough to stop Douglas, sending him to the floor in the 8th round, but the Columbus fighter recovered before landing a fatal uppercut. Despite trying to rise to his feet, Tyson was counted out, and suddenly his unblemished 37-match winning streak was gone in an instant. Just one defeat in 11 years had rightly established Sonny Liston as one of the most intimidating heavyweights in world boxing at that time, since making his professional debut in 1953. When Clay stepped into the ring, not one person expected the Olympic champion to cause Liston any trouble at all, after he had dispatched a former world champion inside a single round during his previous bout. During the clash in Florida, Clay later alley proved to be a far greater match for Liston than anybody could have ever imagined, with Liston threw in the towel during the 7th round. After notching 30 wins and just one defeat since his professional debut in 1984, few people expected Michael Moorer to rip up the prospect of a tantalizing unification fight between Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis. However, the New York fighter caused a massive surprise, catching Holyfield off guard with his southpaw stance and claiming the WBA and IBF titles on a split decision. His reign as the new world champion was to be short-lived. After losing against George Foreman just 7 months later, Foreman regained the belt he had lost to Muhammad Ali 20 years earlier. Once a commanding presence in boxing, Sugar Ray Leonard looked to be out of his depth during a comeback bout with then-world middleweight champion Marvin Hagler. Leonard, who was an Olympic gold medalist and welterweight world champion, had been out of the ring for almost 3 years after a detached retina forced him to retire following his victory over Kevin Howard. The return to action against such a tough opponent only seemed likely to end one way, but Leonard took advantage of Hagler's bizarre move to box in an unfamiliar, unorthodox stance, snatching a victory by split decision. Want to read more boxing articles? Register with The Sportsman to personalize your news feed with your favorite sports and football team.